July 4th in Washington, D.C., the biggest fireworks display ever. I'm on the subway heading towards the Washington Monument to watch the fireworks, and then afterwards attend the Air Force Ball. Two drunken GIs sitting on the opposite side of me harassing a young woman. Come home with me, babe. I could tell she wasn't paying attention to them, and she was scared. And they kept harassing her, and I could feel she was feeling uncomfortable about the situation. Madam Contest Master, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Do you ever get this call, this inner call that says, do something, do it now? The other passengers on board were either moving to the next cart, trying to stay away from it. One of the GIs noticed me looking at him. He says, what are you looking at, Four Eyes? The funny thing is, he was wearing glasses too. They said, we're going to tear you to pieces, boy. Tear me to pieces? And I stood up. Do you know who I am? Because I used to do a little wrestling for the Air Force. Then they stood up. And they were the two biggest men. As they walked towards me, I says, I'm going to teach you a thing or two about manners and respect. If I didn't have to get off this next station right now. You're lucky. As they got off the train station, I waited on the platform for the next train to come by. Fellow Toastmasters, I've never been so scared before. I thought to myself, maybe I should mind my own business. But then I thought, if not me, then who? As I stood on the platform, there were 3 women coming down, waiting for me at the platform, and they were having a good time, kidding around, and they were very drunk. Now, one of the women lost her shoe and fell on the tracks. Before anybody could do anything about it, she jumped down to get it. And I said, wow, that's dangerous. And I thought to myself, I think we should contact security. And the woman says, we have no time. You have to pull her up. Now, I reached down and tried to pull her up. And she was a big woman, big woman. And the girl said, come on, please, the train is coming. So I pulled and pulled. And I realized I couldn't get her up. And the only way for me to push her up is to get down on the tracks. And they kept on yelling at me, the train is coming. So I jumped down the track. And I started to push and push. She was a big woman. And she finally made it to the platform. And all the other girls were celebrating, having a good time, and realizing I was still down there. And then I says, have you forgot about me? Can you help me? Well, they all decided on one thing, contact security. Then I heard the train coming. I start to panic. And everything is in slow motion. And I needed to get out of off this train track. All of a sudden, a woman came down to the platform and rushes over, reached and grabbed my hand. Seeing what the other women saw what was doing, they went over and helped her. And they pulled, and got me back on the platform. And I hugged her. I said, thank you. You saved my life. Now, what scene it must have been her husband standing next to her. I hugged him too. Thank you. She saw I needed help and did something about it. I was grateful. And we can all do something like that. When somebody needs help, accept their hand and cherish it. I finally made it to the Air Force Ball. It was one of those fancy dress-up parties, dress-up balls where the men wear their military tuxedos and the women wear their long evening gowns. I was one of the volunteer stage band, setting everything up on the stage. And while I was up there, I could see how much fun people were having. Later on that night, as everyone was preparing up for the slow song, I noticed this woman way in the back. She was one of the volunteers' helpers. She was dressed casual, very thick glasses. She looked sad, lonely, and out of place. And I was thinking, you know, maybe I should. Then I thought, if it's not me, then who? As I went over to her, I says, would you mind dancing with a man that doesn't have a partner? And she looked up and shook her head, no. I says, come on. Come on, it's going to be fun. Please. The song that was playing was "You Look Wonderful Tonight." And as we slow dance, she looked tense and very self-conscious. And I said, hey, all the women here tonight shine because they came dressed up. But you're special. You're very special. You shine within. You look wonderful tonight. As the song finished, she started sobbing and tears running down her cheeks. He said, my husband and I used to dance to this song. Unfortunately, he was killed in a military plane crash. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me for what I had, not for what I lost. And for the first time that night, the first time I saw that lady smile. A small act can make a big difference to people. Whether it's showing somebody that you care, to really saving a person's life. Fellow Toastmasters, I guess, we can all bring a peace, a true love, and humanity in this world. Just remember, you could be that right person in that right place at the right time. Madam Contest Master.